What it do? What it do? What it do? They gonna feel me, family. It's your boys back with another one, and this is what episode 22 of 2022. We got a lot of twos in the building, baby. We about to get it going. We got a lot of great topics for y'all tonight, man. But introducing ourselves, I'm your boy, your host. You see the name, Zeke's long lost brother. I still don't know who my mom is, but it's all good. I'm gonna find out eventually. All right. I got my boy Fresh Not Fit. People get into them suck ass dudes. I got my boy Al C in the building. Peace out, Tom Brady. We don't like you no way. Also got my boy. He was waiting for Aaron Rodgers to lose anyway. You feel me? But that's enough for the intro. Oh, but before we cancel the introduction, like we always say, don't forget, read them notifications at the bottom. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video so yo mama can see it, yo grandma can see it, yo auntie can see it, yo sister, yo brother, yo nappy headed stepkids, and we gonna get into the episode, baby. Let's go. So starting off, you know we gotta talk about them boys that's fresh not fit. If you guys don't know, this happened. What was this? Was this one of our first topics that we talked about fresh not fit? Because that's their new name now. Disrespecting black women. Brittany Renner went on there of all people to kind of address them and talk to them about the situation. So fellas, watching that video, watching their podcast, tell me what y'all feel. Give me some opinions on what y'all saw.
Them niggas still some hoes.
Definitely that. Definitely.
I mean,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nah, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, they look totally out of their element and pretty clueless during that interview. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was really reading them. I ain't no fan of Brittany Renner, but she's very educated, and you can tell she's very media savvy. So she basically like handed them their ass, for lack of better words. And all they could really do is laugh and say she was upset and emotional, and all the basic little things that they try to say during their podcast and stuff like that when women try to combat them. They say that they're emotional and trying to get her to calm down. And but to me, she never really seemed like she was out of character, out of control, or upset. She was, addressing them in a composed manner and, challenging them. To me personally, I just feel like she was challenging them. And like she said, with conviction, like she was doing it with conviction. She was passionate about what she was saying. So that's why it came across as maybe she was emotional, but I don't think she was emotional. I think that's just her personality. And she was just trying to challenge them. And I mean, I hate to say it, but I kind of like, I don't want to say like her after that interview, but I gained a little bit of respect for her. I will say, you know what I'm saying? Because she wasn't trying to belittle them or anything. She was trying to actually have a real conversation, but they just seemed like two peanut head brothers. That ain't really what I want to say, but you know what I'm saying? They just seem like two peanut heads who really think they're more intelligent than they actually are. And like I said, all they could do is laugh and look at one another with the stupid face. And I think some of the stuff that she said went completely over their heads, basically. It was like little boys and a grown woman like having a conversation almost, to me personally. And they look stupid. I mean, like they have been for the past 2 or 3 weeks. So it is what it is. I'm ready to get these clowns off of social media and all this stuff, because I don't feel like they deserve the attention that they're getting. I've never really cared for them. And I've, seen their videos way before this even started happening. I just always thought they were some lames. And this is just proving that they, what I thought all along, like they are two lames pretending to be these bachelors or, players and trying to teach guys how to get women. And honestly, they seem uncomfortable around women.
I just never know. I never knew dudes needed a podcast to go to on how to get women. So,
I mean, it is like a lot of dudes out there, especially in this social media era, you know, they do need advice on how to get women. I mean, but it's so to me, it's like it's easier with the social media era because all you got to do is slide and it go down in the DM. You know what I'm saying? You just slide in the DM, man. Like it ain't that
Let's be
complicated.
real. I mean, I can understand people needing dating advice, but going to them niggas for like dating advice is kind of like going to Bill Cosby to ask him how to have a good night with your first date.
Man.
Not the best reference. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll say it like this. You know, I don't particularly care for Brittany Renner and the message I think that she puts out there for like, you know, women to discern from. She isn't my favorite person. You know, she's pretty. She's nice to look at. You know, click like on the photos. I definitely have done that in the past. But like as her personality kind of comes to the forefront, it just makes me not like her as much. But to Reezy's point, she is intelligent. You know, I mean, y'all know how, you know, they always say, oh, women are smarter than men and like they're always a couple of steps ahead. Well, I mean, after years of being played by dudes, playing dudes, like, I mean, she's in an arena all of herself, and then she like messing with some dudes that probably couldn't even get her phone number, even if they did have more followers or more affluence. They just some lame ass niggas, you know? I mean, she may be an intergalactic penis trap, but like, I mean, at the same time, you know, like she's formidable, you know. She like just something as that. If you don't come to her with like the mental acumen to basically meet her where you are, where she's at, and on top of that, like challenge her views on life and say something that actually is coherent, then like you're gonna come off looking like a bust ass dude, you know. And that's what she did to them. Fuck them niggas. Why? She proved. Why is anybody talking about them? She proved she proved it with that one thing. What advice can they really give anyone? You know, when they don't even know how to dissect somebody who they think so lowly of. It's like, get out.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be real. Only one of them actually talks. Like the other one just sits there and agrees with everything the light skinned nigga says. So it's kind of like, I mean, she said Tweedledum and Tweedle. Like, I mean, they just
Tweedle Zeke.
Go ahead, Rob.
Now I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna keep it real. When I first attempted to watch the video, I think I got like the first 12 minutes, and that's when I sent that message. I was like, I got through the first 12 minutes, but I'm really trying hard. You know, I'm really trying hard to. It's hard for me to get through this, but I skipped through some of it, and so I'm actually glad I did continue to watch it, because I was just sitting there looking at how the dynamic shifted, and it's important too, and it shows you how people can use clickbait. You know, they'll pick out the juiciest part of an interview and, you know, and set it out there, and will have you almost thinking that the whole thing is going to be like that when it was nothing like that. Almost like you saw with the Kanye, you know, with the Kanye deal, they picked out that little piece when he talked about Big Sean. In actuality, you know, it was almost toward the end of the interview when it was just like a little game, you know, a game that they were playing. But you know, once they got through the minor combative part at the beginning, listening to them explain their rationale behind her to her, and she was sitting there, and she was like, I'm open to it, and they were actually having dialogue. To guys who follow them, or guys who were raised in that, I guess, with that thought process, it would make sense the things that they are saying, because their whole issue or thing with her is, you're just another woman. There's nothing special about you. That, and them kept saying, once you make it to a certain socioeconomic level as a woman, and you start dating, or you're looking to date men that make it to a certain socioeconomic level, there are certain things that you're just going to have to accept. And you're just going to have to accept that all men, if they're making a certain amount of money, if they have so much fame, they're just going to cheat on you. It just comes with the territory. And to me, I just fundamentally disagree with it. But like, to speak to something that Reed said, I actually did come away with a little bit more respect for her, because I knew a bit about her backstory before she got famous. Going to Jackson State and playing soccer and all that kind of stuff. So I knew she was educated. But then she talked about the aspect of her being monogamous, and she delved into the whole PJ Washington thing and why they broke up. And her biggest thing was he was cheating. And I think sometimes we see with the social media age, we see an image of somebody on like Instagram or whatever, and we think we know who that person is. Just because they might take racist pictures or seductive pictures or whatever, and we think, oh man, she going, man, she this or she that or whatever. And it could possibly be nothing like that. She just using the tools that she got to get where she wants to get. I mean, it has nothing to do with who she sleeps with. So I think sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover. And looking at the whole interview, I think it's a little bit more substance to her than you ordinarily would think.
Yeah, definitely. I would say I thought the same thing that y'all are saying when you said that you thought more about her. I definitely did, especially when she got into that part about when that segment you were just talking about when she was detailing what happened with her and PJ. But the one thing that I always keep in the back of my mind with her was the way she came out and she was like, athletes are stupid. They're the easiest ones to go after. So that's why I started to feel sorry. And I was like, wait a minute, that motherfucker said that. Nah, I don't feel sorry for. But I will say, you know what I mean, when they were talking about, when you get with a man that's got so much status and all of that, he's gonna cheat on you. Got to be willing to share. It's like, who the fuck settles for something like that, bro? Like, y'all sound like two battered niggas that got cheated on by y'all high school sweethearts, and now y'all all of a sudden trying to be tough and say you got this, that, and the third. It's like, that shit's lame. And then it's just the fact of one thing that I have never liked is that whether it's male or female, you bash your own race. And the thing of it is, it happens more often than not to our race than it does, of course, to anybody else. I was looking at a stat the other day. I was scrolling through Facebook and I was looking at this reel somebody posted, and they were talking about how, taking a little left field, they were talking about the top 5 searched porn categories on Pornhub. Number 1 reigning in for the last 2 years was the ebony one. But they were like, Black females get disrespected so much in that field, because if you ever find yourself looking at an ebony porn, you know what I'm saying? Not promoting it, but if you ever find yourself doing it, what is one of the titles? White man tames black hood rat and shit like that. Like, it's demeaning as hell. It's already bad that we get bashed as a race, and then when it comes to something like that, we're still getting bashed. And then we have our own brothers, not to call them that because they fuck niggas, but we have our own dudes doing stuff like that, bro. It's terrible.
We should get on to the next topic. Well, let me say one last thing. To your point, or to tag on to what you were just saying, I know that I say like these colorful things about like how she spreads like mustard, but like, when talking about women like her, at the same time, it's kind of like, I want to be enough of an advocate for women to like say, hey, there's room for you to basically be sexually liberated and strong, powerful, opinionated, you know what I'm saying, and vulnerable as well. and not be judged for it. So I don't want to ever come off as if like I have an issue like that with her specific or any woman in particular. I just don't particularly care for her specifically. But I will say these two niggas, they just strike me as Kevin Samuel wannabes that can't afford a good suit.
And I think I'll say this one last thing. The other thing that bothers me about them is almost that you're, how can I say this? You're
Baby.
you're actually you're painting men
Fuck boys.
you're painting men as if they don't have self-control. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that all guys that make a certain amount of money, they got
Please don't feed into the all men and dogs thing.
Hey,
God.
hey, you just gotta accept this because he can't control. I mean, you throw something at him that's looking good, he's gonna get it. He's gonna take it. Like guys don't have any kind of self control, and I don't agree with that because men do have self control. I don't care how much money, how much fame, how much whatever accolades you got. It's a want to. Hey, if you want to be in a committed relationship, you're gonna do it. If you're gonna be a dog, you're gonna be a dog. Whether you got money or whether you broke.
And fuck that stupid ass name, Fresh and Fit. Next topic.
Exactly. So moving on into the next topic, Rob actually brought this to us. Let us know about this. You guys may have known or may have found out, but IG is now allowing subscriptions for creators. So diving deeper into that with stuff like what we got going, it seems like it's something that, you know, platforms like Twitch and YouTube has already had going on. What do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I think it's only right. Everybody's pretty much doing it. You know,
Exactly.
Twitter just started as well to have like a super follower or something like that. So, I mean, I think it's just the next, you know,
It's the way of times, because like I said, you got people like Twitch, you got people like this on Twitch, man. They got reels and all this other stuff that's bringing in more followers, not only to Twitch, but it's also bringing in more followers and subscribers to apps like TikTok or reels that you see on here. So it seems like it's only right that, you know what I'm saying, you add more money and more to the pot with so much content creation that we have now. So much can be done from something like this, man. It's crazy.
Know what? I think in the grand scheme of things, and if we take a snapshot and we look back, maybe I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, 10 years down the road, you know, aside from the horrendous tragedy or all things that happened, you know, with 2019 and the pandemic, I think one of the things, 20 whatever. But I think one of the things that we're really going to say is that it was a flashpoint. It was a flashpoint for people to start their grind and stop and tell that 9 to 5, you know, hey, take a hike and start going out and finding various ways of income, different revenue streams, and I think I'm not gonna say a blessing in disguise. Because too many people lost their lives and lost their livelihoods and things of that nature. But it forced people to get out of their comfort zone. It forced people, hey, let me find some kind of hustle. Let me find something else I can do. And I think just creating content has been like a boom, has been a booming area. And I think, it's about time that Instagram, jumped on that evolution.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's only right, and this allows them to, give people exclusive content and something that everybody else can't get. And I mean, let's be real. This is how most people are consuming entertainment and news today. Like, this is how most people follow Shade Room. That's how they get their news and entertainment throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the way of life and the evolution of times. This is the next reiteration of how people are going to consume media, basically. So Instagram had to hop on board. I mean, it's one of the biggest platforms of our generation right currently, and they would be crazy to not allow people to have exclusive content and get subscriptions to make money. So
and you really got to think about it. Oh, my bad.
I'm
sorry.
Say you brought up a great point though, Reezy, and that's something that you had to be careful. You have to be careful as content creators too, though, because like you said, a lot of people now, that's where they're getting their news. That's where they're getting their news from. And because, these past 4 years, we've been fed and fed and fed so much misinformation, so much disinformation from the mainstream media outlets. You have to be careful of the stuff that you consume, but you also have, as a content creator, people have stopped or starting to lose faith in certain journalistic outlets that they've been looking at for all these years, and going to their favorite content creators because they trust. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but I will say individuals as content creators, keep in mind that you have a responsibility for the content that you're creating, and not to be dishonest or disingenuous when you're putting things out there just to monetize and just to make money, because you do have people clicking and you do have people supporting and actually believing in you.
Yeah. I think the key word in that is content. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I watch YouTube like I watch television nowadays, and then, talk about a flat, like looking back like 5 years. Like, I mean, when you look back like 5-10 years, you know what I'm saying? Just think about like something like Vine, and how, I mean, like think about a character like King Bosch, and how like he was like doing backflips, talking about, look at that backflip though, and now he's doing movies that's and starring with like big name actors and what have you. I mean, this platform, one, it's about like it could be a jumping off point for your career, and I want nothing but the best for anybody who gets in there and has like something positive that they can bring to the world, I guess, like if they have a voice that we should hear. And then two, like content. I mean, let's be real. You can get out there and do like a silly dance, and then like it gets a bunch of views, and then somebody does it, and then somebody else emulates it, but like then they blow up, and now all of a sudden, like, who gets credit for that? I mean, this causes a precedence so that you get the rightful recognition for something that you created that somebody else might get shine off of, And, let's be real. I mean, just social media is becoming such a big part of our life. It is such a big part of our life. I mean, hell, you got like Zuckerberg basically trying to create the Matrix, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we're either going to get Ready Player One, or we're going to get like turned into batteries or something. And it's like, it's kind of like this is a new world, and the way you make it, navigate through it, like find a career, find a life, live, is just becoming way, way different, a lot more digital. It's dynamic, and hopefully it doesn't kill us all. So make your money,
man. I do wonder, like, with this subscription, is it gonna start the whole, like, is Instagram like gonna have like the OnlyFans vibe?
I was just gonna say something about OnlyFans. Damn, you took my juice, man.
With this exclusive content, this now allows for people to offer, possibly, unless Instagram bans like explicit content.
Bans porn.
They didn't have it banned a couple of years ago. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what's coming. It always starts with content, and the porn comes.
All I'm gonna say is, back in 2016, 2017, if you never went to Instagram and put in hashtag Ebony, you were missing out, big dog. That's all I'm gonna say.
And moving right
along to the next. So recently this week we had a teacher who made a tweet talking about how her students didn't know what the accurate number of minimum wage was for our working class, and they actually thought that the minimum wage was much higher. I know when I was looking at that tweet and I saw what they thought that minimum wage was, I was like, sign me up for that shit if that's true, big dog. So, I mean, just going into that, what are y'all thoughts? Like, do we have more people living off their mom and dad's money and they think that everybody lives like that? Or like, are we really just clueless? Are our kids really just clueless now?
I think a lot of I think a lot of people are clueless, man. Like I think a lot of people live in a bubble. I think a lot of people that I've seen on social media think that $100,000 is the new norm, and if you're not making $100,000, like what are you doing with your life? And it's like y'all are where y'all work. I want to know where y'all working. Like, or are y'all still in school? Like, because I've seen some tweets that I'm just like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? Huh? Like, they like, if you making $60,000, you a bum. You know what I'm saying? Like, type tweets. And I'm just like, huh? Where is this coming from?
They got their standards, cuz.
I mean, you can have your standards, but I'm just like, bro, do y'all
No,
realize
I'm no
that
way in shape, form, or fashion agreeing with it.
majority of civilization doesn't even make $50,000 a year, and to think that that's just the norm, that six figures is the norm, is just wild to me. Like, I think social media has created, with all these people showing they hustlers
That's
and
what I was about
they
to say.
getting money and they doing this. You see the immediate success on social media and they think that that's everybody. And everybody's not lit. Even if your friends are portraying that they're making all this money, it don't necessarily mean that they're making a lot of money. Like, people can put on and make you think that they're doing a lot until it's called faking it till you make it for a reason, people. Like, so, I mean, to think that six figures is the norm is just wild. And I mean, honestly, when I heard that, I wasn't even surprised, because it's a lot of people that think that, and it's nothing to I'm not knocking people for wanting to strive to get there. Hey, I want to be there one day myself. But to think that that's easy, I think people think it's so easily obtainable. And that's my thing. It's like, you don't understand how hard you got to work to make that, to first get to that level, and then to maintain that level of money that's a whole different playing field. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just wild to me. I don't know. People are clueless about money, finances, and that's why it's a lot of people who it's even people that make that kind of money that are wasting that money. And I saw something on social media a while back, like they were saying people that make a lot of millennials that make $100,000 are broke or like struggling still, like living paycheck to paycheck. And that is crazy to me. If you're making six figures and you're living paycheck to paycheck, something is severely wrong with you, or you are living way beyond your means. Like,
Even beyond their means, they got to show out for Instagram so they can get them subscribers.
Literacy. I mean, that's financial literacy.
Yeah.
They don't have financial literacy.
Oh, go ahead.
My bad. I was gonna say a word, and many times, I mean, I've said this word before, but many times this word has a negative connotation. The word ignorant.
Yeah.
And all ignorant means is a lack of knowledge. You got a lot of people out here that are ignorant of certain things. Think about it. When you're raised in a sheltered household, and you don't have different experiences, you don't understand, or you don't come into contact with different people from different walks of life, or different socioeconomic levels, or different things of that nature. You think everybody is like you because in your bubble. I'm gonna give you an example, and I'm gonna correlate this to critical race theory, which is something that's going on right now. Why is it that individuals don't want history taught? Perhaps because they don't want their kids to realize the atrocities that they have perpetrated on other people. So, if I'm not taught my history as a white individual or as a black individual, let's take for an instance, if I'm a white individual and I have not been taught that history, I look at people and like, okay, look at those Negroes. Those Negroes, why don't you pull yourself up by your own bootstraps? My people did. But when you don't know of the redlining, when you don't know of the gerrymandering, when you don't know about the systemic racism because it's been shielded from you, you have a blinded sense of other people. Goes the same way as black with blacks. If you don't know your history, you think, oh man, we always lived in the ghetto. We ain't gonna never do nothing. Ain't all we can do is run, play sports, shoot a basketball, run a football. But you don't know these history or things that have been perpetuated against you. Something simple as voting. And you see how people are so apathetic towards voting because they don't understand the history. Think about it. Why on earth would people go through so much trouble to stop you from voting if it wasn't important to vote?
Mitch McConnell.
I mean, and another thing I would say is, I think some people it depends on where you live, because the cost of living is different. People make their salaries vary depending on where they live, but it's still kind of the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if you make say you make $100,000 in New York, that may be average because the cost of living is so much higher. You know what I'm saying? But to think that like like $100,000 here in Memphis, that's you damn near balling. You know what I'm saying? Or you like living comfortably. I ain't gonna say balling, but you living pretty comfortable in Memphis. So, or you should be, yeah, if you're not living beyond your means. So, again, I just think people have this tilted view or perception. I don't know where it came. I know where it came from. It came from social media, you know, and
I actually think it has like multi levels though. Like, I mean, these are students, college students. I can tell you now, when I was a college student, I was ignorant to like the socioeconomic scale and pay grades and everything like that. You know, I mean, I was happy as hell when I got a job. I got out of college, and like my first job told me, "You're gonna make $20,000 a year," and I was like, "Man, 20,000! I am sick." You know, it's like, I mean, and you know, it's kind of like some of those aspects of the like a socioeconomic, well, just economics in general, just really aren't taught in a way that people conceptualize. Also, we're talking about people who are who are going to Wharton. You know, like, I mean, one of the most prestigious business institutes, like places of learning in the entire world. And like, if you're going there, maybe you do have just naturally a skewed view of what success is, and you just think that everybody's getting it, you know. And with the social media effect, and then just your general ignorance, yeah, you might be under the impression that like a lot of people are making a lot more money than what they're actually making. And I mean, that just goes to the ignorance of just young people in some instances, and some adults. And I guess like this is actually a teaching moment where we know that we have a jumping off point of where we need to basically get people's baseline understanding about like what the differences are between people in different classes. You know, I mean, everybody's saying that that the middle class is like disappearing because you either have people who have it or don't have it. And when you use social media as like a barometer, then you think everybody has it, and like, how are you not getting it? You know, go invest in Bitcoin or something like that. And it don't work like that at all, you know. But another offshoot of all this, you know, to say my 2 cents, you know, even though everybody ain't making 100K, like some people making 60, 70, some making 200, some people making 20,000, you know. I mean, I actually talked with my wife about this like a couple of days ago, and I talked about like, isn't it crazy how back like 30, 40 years ago, like 50, 60 years ago, let's say, somebody could raise a 4-person household, you know, with kids, a wife, and they were like a bagger at a grocery store. You know, they pumped gas. the idea that there used to be a guy who got paid just to pump gas and that's it, and they were able to raise a whole family, and like the median household, earnings has gradually increased, but yet what executives make, has skyrocketed, and then cost of living in general has skyrocketed. I mean, if you're making $100,000 a year, yeah, you should be living comfortably, like you should be effectively rich. But like I know here in Houston, Texas, you are just capable of affording the rent at your luxury apartment and like one luxury vehicle and the occasional visit to Steak 48 to get like a really nice meal. You can get your Ruth Chris on. I mean, it's like the issue with this is the concept of not being able to build generational wealth, and just how the people, like our government has failed us, our educational system has failed us. There's just so many different systems that failed us and created this place where, like, people are uninformed, as well as like they don't even get the most, out of just being able to live. I mean, people need a living wage, and like there's just so many different dynamics to this, other than just the spectacle of like someone thinking that like, oh, like everybody's balling, like, I mean, yeah.
I mean,
these kids, this generation. I'm sorry, I gotta say that.
I guess the sad, and to like piggyback off of, like our education system and stuff has failed, and government has failed us. It's like these are the things that we really should be being taught, coming up, like about financial literacy and things of that nature. And I was gonna say, like, another thing is we're this like consumer society, like think about like Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and people get all this money from taxes and things of that nature, and they're just itching to spend it. Go spend it. It's like you get this money just to spend it, and I'm happy for social media because it is like creating more people that are invested in being aware about generational wealth and investing and doing those types of things, and hopefully it's going to rub off on the next generation where they're not so much consumers and more investors and things of that nature, because you just look at like some of our the people before us, our parents and grandparents, and it's just like a lot of them are itching to go out for Black Friday and buy things for Christmas. And so I just want people to stop being so much of a consumer and start thinking about like building that generational wealth when it comes to their finances.
All I'm gonna say is, let me get that Al Bundy life where I can be a damn shoe salesman and have a house like that man had. Cause sheesh.
Right. Yeah.
That's the life to live. Fuck you talking about. But
As
moving along,
long as you ain't pushing that Dodge, bro.
moving along to the next topic. So if you guys have not seen before, it was actually just a little trailer or a little feature that came out showing that it was possibly going to be a Fresh Prince reboot, and it looks like this is actually coming to pass. And looking at the trailer, it actually looked like it's going to be pretty lit. So fellas, what is your thoughts on this reboot that we have coming, and how they're really changing it from an open sitcom to more so like a live everyday show?
I think that was my question that I asked y'all. I asked y'all at first. I was like, how do y'all feel? Because the original was more lighthearted. It's a comedy, and from watching the trailer, it looked like they went in the opposite direction, more of a drama. Like, do you think that's going to be? Do you think that some people are going to be turned off by that because they remember the lighthearted Will Smith and Carlton characters, and they were funny and lovable or whatever, as opposed to this more serious look?
I think it's going to have the opposite reaction. I think if they were to try to recreate what's already been done, I think people are going to immediately try to compare it to what was already out, and they're going to immediately, if it's bad, then they're not gonna rock with it at all. Period. So I think for them to take a whole new spin, put a whole new spin on it, it at least gives them the chance for people to like it, and not have to compare it so much to the sitcom, that we all grew up loving. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to see something and they're trying to have a Carlton, a Will, a Hillary, and all the characters are just terrible. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to recreate what we've already seen. So for them to like kind of make it a drama, like in more cinematic, I think that could cause them to have a greater audience than what they possibly would have if it was more sitcom-y or more comedic and things of that nature. And that's my personal opinion. I think looking at the trailer is going to be dope. I love the different take on it. And, I at least want to watch it to see what it's about. I think if it was a sitcom, I'd be like, okay, I'll give it I might watch an episode. But if it's not like the old Fresh Prince, then what am I watching? I might as well go back and watch. They still air the old episodes. Why am I watching this shit
every day? And I feel like open sitcoms are kind of played out because we've had a lot of shows that went to Netflix. I know Jamie Foxx had a show. I can't remember if it went to Netflix or if it came on a regular it was on Netflix, but it was an open sitcom and it just felt so awkward. You know what I mean? Watching it as opposed to now, we have IRL shows like Snowfall or Ozark. Well, not IRL, but well, I guess you could say IRL. Based on like it's more realistic. It seems like something that happens every day as opposed to something that's, even though it's filmed in a studio, it doesn't feel like it's filmed in a studio. It feels like these people are up the street from your house filming this movie or going to this place and filming this movie or show, as opposed to the way it was in the past where you had people come in and they would shoot the show, you know what I'm saying, in front of an open sitcom. So I really think it's going to be dope. I'm hoping it's dope.
And I think, I'm not going to say sitcoms are played out, but I do think like in this era, like the more dramatic type of shows, like the more cinematic type of shows are winning. So I think it's a smart move to make it more of that kind of TV show versus the sitcom, because I feel like it has more of a chance to succeed in this generation, in this time. Like you think of shows like Euphoria. You can even think it back to like shows like Degrassi. Like those are shows that are more realistic. And I think this is kind of the what that show is going to be, kind of like geared towards like those high school kids. And we're going to see a difference, maybe not a different side, but we're going to probably see some different things than what we saw.
Stuff that we see each day now.
We didn't see in the sitcom. So,
this whole thing, it started off as like like it was really just a fan-made, trailer by a guy named, I think his name is Morgan Cooper. And then I guess like Will Smith and the rest of the world saw it and like, oh, that's a dope idea. Will Smith got on board. And then, like, he made it happen. And, like, that's actually one of the dopest parts about this for me, is that, like, the idea of you just a regular dude, with a dream, and then somebody like Will Smith comes and makes it a reality and turns you into a millionaire real quick. I mean, assuming, and I think that's, like, a dope come-up story. I mean, hell, Will Smith, come find me. I got, like, a musical called Entanglement, I'll be Arkansas Lena. But anyway, like but no, like I mean, I think that's dope. But I think one thing that we talked about, like when we were discussing this, is what it is an original in that, like of course it's a remake, and on top of that, there's a lot of shows that are taking like old ideas and remaking them, rebooting them, restarting them, and I think that was a conversation that we wanted to have about like how. Is this new phenomenon, or really it's not that new. I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a comedy, and then they turned it into like several seasons on the CW or whatever it was, or WB or whatever. So like it's not new. So like, but it's a new wave of that happening. And how interesting are these shows really going to be or can be? I think the original show was built around a charismatic celebrity. And that's part of the reason why I was successful. I mean, and Will Smith is like a very talented brother. Like this cast may not have that depth, but the story might. make up for that.
Yeah.
You know, that lack of star power, I guess. But like, you know, does this mean that we need like a grit? I think SNL made a joke about this. Do we need a gritty remake called Urkel? You know, like do we need a dramatization of like the Wayans brothers? I'm just saying, like, I mean, what precedence is this going to start with like people if this goes well? You know, I hope it goes well. It looks like it's going to be nice.
I think
shout out to Uncle Phil being frat too.
I think some shows you just gotta let them be great, bro. Like leave them alone. The Wayans, the Jamie Foxx show, the Steve Harvey show, like stuff like that. Just let it be what it was back then. I could see the Fresh Prince because of the high school, like the aspect of that show and the different characters. I could see it working, but Family Matters, I mean, I could see it working. I don't know, man. That's gonna be tough because Steve Urkel was just such I don't want to say iconic character, but like he was just such a distinguished.
He was an iconic character.
Yeah,
I mean, he was an iconic character. But I don't know. I just seeing him like in a real aspect, I just don't think that'll work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, our real aspect will be difficult.
Kind of like cinematic aspect. I just don't see that working. And they could prove me wrong. I don't know. I mean, as far as like the reboots, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, hell, they remade Batman, Spider-Man, fucking Blank Man, whatever the hell.
Blank Man reboot. Blank Man reboot.
I'm just playing. Yeah, they remake all these damn superheroes.
Rating Blank Man reboot. I'm here for it.
They remaking all these damn DC, Marvel movies. Like, why not? I mean, remake these shows. It's just like, to me, people complain about like this nostalgic shows, but they don't have a problem with rebooting Batman 40 different times. Like, we've seen so many different Batmans, it doesn't make any sense. Now we're gonna have a new Batman. Nobody bats an eye about that. But you make a Fresh Prince. Oh no, they're touching our childhood. It's a crime. Like, no, like, bro, like at some point, you know, like, let's try something different. Like, let's let our kids kind of have a spin on what we grew up like loving as a child. And to me, it's like, if I had a kid, I'd be like, hey son, watch the Fresh Prince. Or like, if I watch this show with him, I'd take him and show him the old Fresh Prince. Like, maybe he hadn't seen that. Like, this is what I grew up on, son, and this is where this came from. You know, that's
Gritty Cosby Show remake.
Man.
Gritty.
Next topic.
Oh my god.
Yo.
Cliff Huxtable is like that.
I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Bill Cosby gonna come out instead of Cliff Huxtable taking care of them doggone patients he got.
Oh, you want to be out there
with the wretched, cuz, not the wicked, the wretched.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, give me that.
Oh my god. But moving on to the next topic. So, fellas, y'all didn't see it, if y'all didn't pay attention to it. We're talking about our power choicer. So you got Effie, you got Lauren,
Diana.
You got Diana.
Diana.
Man, why are you breathing like that, bro?
Because these are. I'm sorry. Let me get back into character. So you got Effie. You got. I mean, shit. You see my name, big dog. I got the same amount of brain cells he got. That means I'm stuck on stupid.
Man, like you on purpose,
Yeah. That gets me every time.
My opportunity. But looking at those three ladies, like I said, Effie, Lauren, and Diana, who do you feel y'all would go with?
Effie.
But the thing about that is that Effie is like Tasha, and honestly, I always thought that Tasha was a bad guy in Power. Like she was just bad. She was bad from Ghost from the beginning. If Ghost had like a positive, because she was the first person to cheat. She was based on the show. From what we saw, remember she was like stripping for old dude in the car. She was the first person to do some dirt in the entire show. She was always a negative influence. Like, I mean, they showed in the last season that he could have been like much greater if he didn't have like people gearing him toward being a kingpin. And Effie is that. That's a good part about it because like we know it moves along this particular story. But I guess the long term of what Tyreek could be, he needs like a much more suitable and solid, positive, spouse. But Effie, I love interest, but Effie is just so dope. That's pretty much what it amounts to.
I see Diana. As more of a correlation to his mom than Effie is, because I mean Diana's already in the family or whatever, and I mean to me,
and she desperate to learn the game.
Yeah, to me, yeah. I mean, because his Tasha, Tasha was the one that got Ghost, the one that got Ghost in it. You know what I'm saying? I think the easy correlation is Lauren and Angie. I mean, that's easy. But to me, I think Effie combines both. Because she's in school. She's smart. She has a head on, she has a good head on her shoulders, but she's also street smart. So she combines both of those aspects, and she calls Tariq out on his on his BS, because from a standpoint, Lauren is still naive, because she's been sheltered from a whole bunch of stuff, and to a certain extent, Diana is still naive too, because she's been under the rule of Monet, her mom. So she's desperately trying to spread her wings and go to college or whatever. But that's why I say Effie is like the perfect combination of both, because she got the book sense, and she got the street sense, and she got the common sense, and she's seen enough to where she can call Tariq out on his BS and stand up to him.
That's a good point.
I mean, I would probably choose Effie too. The only thing that worries me about Effie is I feel like she kind of wants to be the kingpin herself. You know what I'm saying? Like she wants to be on top herself, and I just wonder what lengths would she go to? Like, would she be okay being Tyreek's queen and be with him, or does she want to have control of an empire? You know what I'm saying? Because she was running drugs by herself and doing all these things and going to school. She is very smart. She could easily manipulate somebody. You know what I'm saying?
She already got him caught up the first season when he got there.
Have an ulterior motive. It's just, to me, as much as Effie seems like the best choice out of all three of them, she also seems like she's the most dangerous to Tyreek as well, because I think that Lauren, like, she could be they're all they could all be dangerous. Let's be honest. Because Lauren,
you don't think the one with the queen, with the kingpin and queen, mom and dad, are getting dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I'm just saying, I think that Effie is the type of person that could stab him in the back, like real life stab him in the back, because she wants what he has. You know what I'm saying? Like down the road.
I don't know. If Monet found out he knocked down her daughter, is she gonna get to shooting up in this dancery? Okay,
I mean, I get that, but at the same time, it's like almost like if Mo but like
Daddy
we
fresh
see
out the
that Diana.
pen.
Hold on. We see that Diana is becoming her own woman. Would Diana really let her mom do some stuff like that at this? I mean, we know they're gonna come. There is gonna be some kind of conflict eventually, like between them two. Like from what I've heard about the episode, them two are gonna have a falling out eventually. So I'm just saying, like, Diana is becoming her own woman. She's sick of Monet's shit, because she's tired of her bullshit with her dad. She's tired of her trying to control her life, and eventually they're gonna come to heads because Diana's been trying to become a woman, become her own woman. She wants to be her own woman. So I could see a point where down the road, even if Monet found out about some shit, Diana probably gonna be like, hell, that's my man. Like, you're not finna, if you're gonna lay hands on him, you're gonna lay hands on me. Because, you know what I'm saying, she's becoming that type of woman. She wants her own life for herself. Like, yeah, Monet is scary, but I don't know. To me, like I said, Effie, she seemed like the best choice. But I do feel like, I don't know, it just seems like it's it just seems like it's something with her that's gonna happen down the line. And we all gonna be like, damn, like why didn't
that goes into my point why I say, as fine as those women are, okay, we're talking about your characters, right? We're talking about your characters, okay, especially you, Lauren. Hey, but I hope my wife don't watch this episode. But going in to the topic, I would choose neither, and I'm gonna tell you why. With each one. Diana, she wants to learn the game too much. I sense her being more so, like I said, more so like a Tasha. And she's going to want to keep him in the game more so than him getting out. Lauren, too clueless. She, even though she's smart as hell, you know what I'm saying, top of her class, you see how easy it was for them to get her to sign that paperwork and wear that watch. And then when she started to feel like she was manipulated, then she started getting aggressive. But shit, you already got my boy locked up. It's too late now. Can't feel it. You can't feel like you were pressured, or you can't say this, that, and the third when you signed on the dotted line. And then, like you said, I feel like y'all talking about Effie want to be the queen pin, this, that, and the third. I feel like Effie working with the feds or somebody, and she trying to get this man caught up. Like she playing a good game, making it seem like she down for the call. She reminds me, what was the lady that was trying to catch up Ghost and Angela, the other Hispanic detective. I can't remember what her name was.
Yeah.
That's who she reminds me of. She reminds me like she's undercover. You know what I mean? Hey, look, you already been close to Tariq before, and you caught him up when he first came to Stansfield and got him kicked out the dorm for having paraphernalia. We didn't see her that whole last season of actual power when Ghost got killed and we were going through everything. We don't know what she got going on. I really feel like messing with her is going to get him caught up even more. So me personally, I wouldn't pick either one.
And I almost feel like Effie kind of like seemed like one of the guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Almost like, I don't know. She just seemed like one of the homies. She seemed like one of the homies. Like, and I just feel, I don't know, it's just something about her that I just don't like, bro. Like, I'm telling you, like,
the homies ain't looking like that, though.
She's a good looking, I'm not saying like in that aspect. Come on now. We know there's some girls out here that's homies. She gonna look good. Like, come on now. I'm just saying, but she just has that vibe, that homie vibe. Like, she seemed like one of the guys. And I just feel like she either, like Chris said, she trying to set him up, or she want what he got at the end of the day. And
I think.
Go ahead.
Well, I think that, like, with that whole kingpin thing, I don't necessarily think I agree that she has like the best of both sides. Like smart and street smart. But like the good thing about it is that like I feel as if like she might build him up and like they go off to be kingpins, but like I mean, whereas Monet's daughter is like pretty much gonna try and stay in the game perpetually. I feel as if she, on the other hand, would be like, all right, we made it far enough in this game. Let's find an exit strategy, because she's smart enough to do that. You know, Lauren is just a terrible idea because like you're just gonna mess up an innocent person's life.
Yeah, Lauren she's too innocent, too green. She just I mean, she just is a liability in my opinion. Like, to
She a
Tyria.
liability, and she looking for love too much.
And
you know what I mean?
She too emotional.
Yeah, she way too emotional with that. And for him to be in that game, he can't get caught up in that because that's gonna get him locked up immediately. So, anything else, Rob? You had another, because you was over there looking. You look like you was if Effie was one of the homies and she looked like that.
Bruh, come on now. We all know.
Hey, I ain't said she was one of the homies.
Like you thinking
no
in
homies,
the
no
literal
homies ain't
sense.
looking like that, bro.
You just thinking in the literal sense.
Hey, buddy.
Like
Hey, bud.
you thinking in the literal sense.
But we coming to the end of the episode. But for a checkup, we got that TGFM Get Fit. What y'all boys been doing? What y'all been looking like in the gym? Because I'm going to let y'all know your boy that lost 12 of them things. Stop playing. Hey, look. By December, by December, hear me, by December, I'm going to be recording this episode with no shirt on, and I'm going to have a chest piece. I was gonna say something that was not gonna be PG, so you know what? We're gonna keep it pushing, but you have officially made it to the end of the episode. We appreciate you guys for watching, and like I say, y'all see that ticker going across the bottom? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, let us know some feedback, give us some topics that y'all want to hear us talk about. I want to say it should be next week. I'm going to try to live stream our episode on Twitch. So if y'all catch this episode when we put it out, hopefully I had the kinks working out and everything. We can live stream it so you guys can see it. We'll make sure that we put all of that info on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever platform we need to put it on so you guys can come and join us live. But again, from your boy, from your other boy, from your other boy, and your other boy, this is They Gon' Feel Me with another episode. And as we always say, if you didn't feel us this time, I guarantee you gonna feel us the next. Get the fuck off my screen.